So I don't really know how to start this video off, and I know I don't need to say anything on this, but I kind of just want to say something on it because I am someone who advocates, strongly for mental health. First and foremost, rest in peace to Rondell Moore. Nothing but prayers to him and his family and friends. If you haven't heard, Rondell Moore passed away on Saturday. You can read into the cause on your own time. I don't really want to get into that, but I just want to say to anybody, who's going through anything, you're loved, you matter, and never ever be afraid to talk to somebody. Rondell Moore, rest in peace. We all love you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video where I am going to be reacting to your guys' free agency predictions, hopes, and dreams. Figured this would be a fun video, instead of me just doing my own predictions and being wrong on every single one of them. This way we can all be wrong together. Couple of plugs as always. Don't forget to use code WW10 to save yourself a discount on any of Waggle's amazing product. And also don't forget to use code WyattzWorld at sign up on Prize Picks to guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 entry. Also a reminder that the MLB seasonal prediction windows have opened up if you would like to try and predict home runs, strikeouts, ERA, stolen bases, etc. You can head right on over to Prize Picks and hit the MLB seasonal prediction tab. But as always, please remember to play responsibly, and let's get into the video. Okay, so kicking off this video, we have Case Very Sad Vikings fan saying Breece Hall to Minnesota. Ooh, I wouldn't hate this. I especially wouldn't hate having his extra set of hands out there either, but for some reason, I've always pegged him... I need to stop saying that. I've always thought, though, he was going to be a Chief. And I still do. I just think he would fit that offense really well. He brings the versatile dual threat capability there. He's a productive runner. He's dealt with the absolute bottom of the barrel for the start of his career, so I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to go right to a top team. Sam1 Chiefs Defender here says, Chiefs trade for Justin Jefferson. I don't think people understand that, if this happened, there's a very real chance World War III would start. I don't think I would be able to watch that. Jefferson would shatter every single record, including shattering my heart. Adams here says Trey Hendrickson to the Panthers. I like that. I do. I think that's a pretty ballin' move, to be honest. Now, the team I've heard circulating the most around Trey Hendrickson is the Colts. They have a ton of cap space, apparently. And I think that he would be a good addition to them. Obviously, he'd look pretty good in a Buffalo Bills uniform. I mean, realistically, he could help every single team. I just hope he does indeed end up taking, a team that would be exciting to see him go on. If he signs with someone like fucking Arizona, no offense, I ain't trying to see that. NFL World Loop says George Pickens to my Packers. Now, are you just saying that, or are you literally a shareholder in the Packers? Because isn't every fan an owner technically? I don't agree with this. I think he's going to stay in Dallas. I think it would be insane on both parties to not try and make a deal happen there. Now, obviously, if Pickens wanted to come to the Bills, I would definitely be interested in hearing it, but I still think it would be a mistake on his part to not stay in Dallas if they offer him, a good deal. Him and CD right now, I mean, that's a combination you're not going to beat, and they both make each other better in certain situations. Bronco C says AJ Brown traded to the Broncos. I can already see the memes, AJ Brownco. Actually, I'm probably the only one stupid enough to think of that. I would not hate seeing this either. I think that he would actually pull off those uniforms quite well. But there's been a lot of circulation with him possibly going to New England. I think that sounds pretty likely. I think Kansas City is probably going to be interested. I do think he's going to leave Philadelphia for the record, but I don't know where he'll go. And honestly, depending on Tank Dell's status, I could see Houston possibly being interested in him as well. That'd be a pretty fucking good offense, man. Raiders should be interested for sure. Packers interested. Again, if Buffalo wanted to take a stab at him, I'm all for it. I don't think his value is going to be too ridiculous nowadays either. Ooh, Nate says the Cardinals signed Malik Willis. That's a sneaky contender. I still think he's going to the Jets, sadly. Could go to the Vikings. That'd be interesting. Miami would be, I think, honestly pretty good for him. I certainly believe he will be a starting quarterback to start the season next year. Honestly, though, he probably wouldn't be too bad in Arizona. Reload Rex here says Tariq Woolen to Dallas. I think he'll go to that division, but I think he's going to go to Washington, man. Just seems like a Washington move to make, plus they need the beef in the secondary, even though it's probably not going to be the strongest piece of beef, but at least he's not 64 years old. I think it's definitely good, though, that this guy gets a fresh start. Seattle fans were over him, and I mean, kind of rightfully so. I mean, he had 7th most passes in the league allowed that were over 20 yards. He had a lot of penalties this year. I think both him and the team were probably a little frustrated. Bills Mafia Hannah here says, Bills sign Alec Pierce to a 3-year deal. It's not the first time I've heard this, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all because he's not a needle mover. This is like signing Cortland Sutton, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Juwan Jennings, you know, they're not like terrible, but they're not needle movers. They're not going to make your team significantly better. Shoot me for saying it. I was right about it with Curtis Samuel. I was right about it with Josh Palmer. I would be right about it with him too. Not saying any of these are possible, but we would need like a George Pickens, an AJ Brown, who I still believe in, a Chris Olave. I know he's not a free agent. A Jalen Waddle. Again, I know he's not a free agent, but like if we're going to trade for a receiver or sign a receiver to a big deal, I want it to be someone who I still think is, you know, one of the best in the league. Peanut says Seattle's re-signing K9. Yeah, I think so too. There was rumors, you know, like mid-season of him, you know, possibly going places. I had heard the Jets. But I think after, you know, his postseason run after the season they just had, there should be no problem with an extension. Honestly, by the time this video is uploaded, there'll probably be one. Lucas Ebel here says Max Crosby to the Bears. Now, obviously, Max Crosby is not a free agent, but there is mass speculation he's going to be traded because he has been vocal saying he wants to be traded out of there. I've heard Seahawks a lot come up for him, which would terrify me. Him to the Bears would absolutely terrify me. I think him to the Bears would make a lot of sense. But I'm actually going to keep my foot down, and I think this is just going to end up probably turning into one of those stories of the entire offseason that ends up with him just staying there. It's just typically what happens, especially with these huge names. Again, though, I understand both sides. I understand why Max would want to get the hell out of there, but I also understand the Raiders obviously not wanting to get rid of him, and there is part of me that thinks Max should at least try and entertain to see what this team is going to have to offer. You never stood a chance last year to begin with. Your coach, your quarterback, you guys were doomed. Owen says Bills get Justin Jefferson. Now listen, talk about a needle mover. This is just, it's not possible, sadly, because he's untradeable, but could you imagine? Like, what would you honestly have to give up? I mean, I'm talking literally 3 first-round draft picks minimum, which they're increasing the amount you can trade now, I think I heard. Ed Oliver, probably gone. And then Keon Coleman, but then we'd have to probably throw in another draft pick to get the Vikings to take Keon off our hands. It'd be a shit show. St. Diddy here says, Breece Hall to the Chiefs. Yep, I agree. Kenneth Walker stays in Seattle. We're 2 for 2. Cardinals release James Conner. I think we're 3 for 3. That seems likely. Pacheco signs with the Jets. Is he a free agent already? I mean, is what it is. That would be something that I would forget about the day after it happened and not remember until I saw him in a game again. And Algier signs with the Bengals. Again, I don't know if I would throw down some cash on that one, not because I think it's outlandish, but just I don't know if I feel strong, but I have nothing against it. I think that's a solid lineup of takes there. Your name, on the other hand, and your profile picture. Recon says Tyreek Hill returns home to Atlanta. You're talking literally home. Wasn't he from Georgia? Anyway, I firmly disagree here. I think this is the most predictable signing of the offseason, and that he's going to go to Kansas City, right back to Kansas City. I think he's been dropping hints already that he's wanted to go back there, and then the day after he was released from Miami, he literally went directly to Kansas City. Probably already a deal in place that they're just waiting on. Okay, moving on, we have Snoopy Lee here saying Romeo Doubs and Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely are going to Washington. Maybe John Franklin Myers too. So probably, I don't know, 30 minutes ago as to right now, it was announced that Kyle Pitts is going to get franchise tagged essentially. So that would lead you to Doubs and Isaiah Likely to Washington. Isaiah Likely to Washington, I think that's good. You know, obviously Baltimore should have some interest in trying to retain him, but if they don't, he should get a heavily, you know, pretty heavily used workload there. Especially with Ertz probably not coming back. Romeo Doubs, on the other hand, that one, I think he's a real dark horse for this offseason. I can't shit you. If the Bills are going to go out and get a receiver that isn't, you know, a full-blown needle mover, but somebody who I think is going to be consistently useful in our offense, Romeo Doubs would be one that I would want. Now, putting him in Washington, I mean, that could be likely. I get it, Isaiah Likely. But something tells me, especially with Debo on the way out there, they're going to be going for a home run hitter. Whether that's in the draft or it's going to be by a trade. Or, of course, Mike Evans. And by the way, no, I'm not calling Debo Samuel a home run hitter. Debo's more the hitter that batted like .314 for one season. And now he's good for about a base hit a series. Okay, that's a bit far. I'd say he's more of a bunter. That's mean too. Debo's like a Joey Gallo. You know, he can hit a home run, but majority of the time he doesn't do shit. Yusuf here, I think this is extremely interesting. He said the Titans are trading for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't believe they will, but I would be interested in seeing it happen. Liam here says Rodgers gonna follow Favre and finally go to the Vikings for his last ever year. Am I a bad person for saying I would be genuinely excited? I would love to see Justin Jefferson and Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. He can still play, dude. Cowboy hat, cater pie, please. What the fuck? Says Kirk Cousins will be back in purple. I unfortunately think that has a pretty good chance of happening. Nothing against Kirk, but I don't think he's in his good years anymore. And I know some people never thought he was good. He was a good quarterback. And Bo Nix is elite says Bo Nix gets a true wide receiver one and the Broncos get Alex Algier or Breece Hall? So I just posted a skit because I've been hearing rumors now that Breece is about to get tagged too, so I don't think he'll even be a Chief anymore. However, Algier to the Broncos, I think that would be interesting. I think RJ Harvey sucks. I'm just gonna be honest. Well, it doesn't suck. He's just incredibly inconsistent, not consistent enough to be your, number one dude. I don't know what the status is with Dobbins, and I think Algier is an established back. As far as Bo Nix getting a true wide receiver one, I personally think Mike Evans there would be pretty awesome. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I got for reacting to your guys' free agency predictions part 1. I say that because I feel like I will have another free agency prediction out, whether it is just my predictions in that one or more of your guys'. But if you guys did like this video and you want to show support, please do it because I appreciate any and all help. In the meantime, I'm going to hop off and get this whipped up so you guys can watch it on time. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And as always, I will see you in the next upload.